We start?
You were using this one?
Pardon?
For the Imam, when you were teaching, were you using this?
Yeah. The page number was different. Yeah. Because I gave my copy last week, and this is older edition. Second, you have the third edition. We start? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Today we study قاعدة الفراغ والتجاوز, the rule of passing. This rule or these two rules, because there is a discussion whether this is one rule or two rules, are very commonly used in fiqh, especially about salat. But as we will say, they are not only for salat. The idea is that if after performing your act of worship like salat, you doubt. For example, you said Salatul Maghrib and you doubt, did I recite Suratul Hamd or not? Or did I recite it properly or not? Did I do ruku or not? Did I do 2 sajda or not? Did I do less? Did I do more? So you can have different types of doubts after finishing. This rule says you ignore your doubt. If you are sure that you have not done something, then it depends if that is rukn or not rukn, all these things. And we had last week qa'idatul la tu'ad, not to repeat about certain issues. So, qa'idatul tajawuz. Tajawuz means passing. Means if after performing a wajib, you start doubting, you ignore it. Sorry, qa'idatul faragh, after completion. Qa'idatul tajawuz, which some people say is the same thing, is when you have not finished necessarily, but have gone into the next part. For example, in ruku, you doubt about qira'ah. In sujood, you doubt about ruku. In tashahhud, you doubt about sujood. In salam, you doubt about tashahhud. Or before that. But even if it is the last part, not lots of parts before, even if it is about the last part, but you have passed and entered the new part, you can ignore. Okay? So this is the idea. Let us read some of the hadith that are used as proof and as evidence for this rule, and then explain. One hadith is narrated by Zurara from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. And the late Sheikh Hurra Amili narrates this hadith in Wasa'il al-Shi'ah. رجل شك في الأذان والإقامة وقد كبر he asked Imam alayhi salam, someone doubted about azan or iqamah, but he has said takbiratul ihram. Okay? Of course, azan and iqamah are not wajib, but if you want to do it, so you do it. But if you doubt after takbiratul ihram, did my azan, match with requirements or not? Qala yamdi. Imam alayhi salam said, he continues. Means he ignores this doubt. قلت رجل شك في التكبير وقد قرأه. Someone doubts in takbiratul ihram, but he has done qira'ah. So after doing hamd and surah, he doubts about takbiratul ihram. قال يمضي. قلت الشك في القراءة وقد ركع. He doubts about hamd and surah, but he has done ruku. He's in ruku or has finished. Imam alayhi salam said, يمضي. قلت الشك في الركوع وقد سجد. He doubts in ruku, but he has done sajda. قال يمضي على صلاته. Then Imam alayhi salam, perhaps so Zurara is not stopping, gave him a general rule. يا زرارة إذا خرجت من شيء ثم دخلت في غيره فشكك ليس بشيء. O Zurara, whenever you have gone out of something, means you have passed it. ثم دخلت في غيره, you entered something else. Your doubt is nothing. Means you don't pay attention to your doubt. So remember this sentence because it's very important. إذا خرجت من شيء ثم دخلت في غيره. When you have gone out of something and entered something else. Like out of qira'ah and you are in ruku. You have gone out of ruku and you are in sujood. Okay? Like this. Although the question is about salat, but the ending seems to be a general rule. For example, if someone doubts about tawaf, the same thing can be applied. إذا خرجت من شيء ثم دخلت في غيره. Inshallah, we will talk about this later. The only exception is wuzu. In wudu, if you doubt about the previous part, you have to go back. Because we have a specific reason for wuzu. So if you are washing your right hand and you have doubt about face, you have to go and do it. This doesn't apply. But if after finishing wuzu, you doubt, you ignore. But so there is qa'idatul faragh for wuzu, but not qa'idatul tajawuz. After completion, you ignore, but during wuzu, no. The next hadith is from Muhammad ibn Muslim, from Imam Baqir alayhi salam. كلما شككت فيه مما قد مضى فامضه كما هو. Anything that you doubt from what has passed, carry on. Let it be like it and carry on. Leave it. Anything that you doubt and it has passed. So sometimes I am in ruku, I am doubting about my ruku. I should say the zikr of ruku if I'm doubting, or if I'm not sure I stayed enough. Okay, I continue. I am in qira'ah, I doubt about qira'ah. But if it is something which has passed, فَمْضِهِ كَمَا هُوَ, leave it as it is. Carry on. Another hadith, Abdullah ibn Abi Ya'fur. And Abi Abdullah alayhi salam, from again Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, إذا شككت في شيء من الوضوء وقد دخلت في غيره فليس شكك بشيء إنما الشك إذا كنت في شيء لم تجزه. If you doubt about anything in wuzu, but you have gone out of wuzu, for example, you have started your prayer, then you shouldn't pay attention to that doubt. Another hadith is Ismail ibn Jabir from Imam Baqir alayhi salam. In shakka fi ruku, he says, Imam Baqir said this, in shakka fi ruku ba'dama sajada. If someone doubts about ruku after sajda, falyamdhi, he should continue. Wa in shakka fi sujud ba'dama qama. If doubts in sujud after he stood up, falyamdhi. كل شيء شك فيه مما قد جاوزه ودخل في غيره فليمض عليه. Anything that he doubts that he has passed and entered something else, he should just carry on. There is also another hadith which is actually Sahiha, Muhammad ibn Muslim and Abi Ja'far alayhi salam from Imam Baqir alayhi salam. كل ما شككت فيه بعدما تفرغ من صلاتك. This is faragh, completion. Anything that you doubt after you complete your salat, famdhi, carry on, ignore it. Wala ta'ud, don't return, or wala tu'id, do not repeat. Ta'ud means return, tu'id, repeat. So we have all these hadiths which leave no doubt that we have such rules that after completing an action, we don't go back and do it again, we ignore doubt. And also, after passing any part, even if you are inside still salat, inside the action, but that part that you have doubted has gone and you have entered new part. Okay? So this is either faragh means completion or tajawuz means passing. But we have here few questions. One is when it comes to finishing salat and doubting, do I need to be in another action, or even if it's still I'm sitting there, I should ignore? You know, sometimes, for example, I have finished my salat and I have started walking, I don't know, talking, you know, reading. Sometimes I am still on my prayer mat, I have not done anything else and I have been silent. Does it make difference? They say no. Here you don't need to enter into new thing. That's tajawuz. When you are inside salat, you have to be in the next part so that you ignore. But if you have finished, you don't need to go into another action. You are in a new condition anyway. You have said your salam and this is after salat. You don't need to do something extra. Just you have finished. It's a new condition. You understand? So we don't need to be starting a new thing. This is one point. Another point is when in the middle of salat, for example, we doubt. We said if you have gone to the next part and you doubt previous part, you ignore. What do you mean by part? Some ulama say part means an independent part, means something which has a kind of integrity, as the examples indicate. For example, Takbiratul Ihram is one part which follows Adhan and Iqamah. Qira'ah is one part which follows Takbiratul Ihram. Ruku is one part. But if I doubt about Qira'ah, for example, I doubt about Suratul Hamd while I am reciting second surah, still I am in Qira'ah. Some ulama say here we cannot ignore doubt. But some say although those examples were about the whole part, but the ending rules were general. It says if you doubt about something and you have entered another thing, and this is another thing, it is just important that it has to be considered as something which is considerable as a part. For example, 2 surah, second surah is a new part. Then some people have said even inside each surah, if you have entered next ayah. So for example, if you are saying إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ and you doubt about Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Some say this is again included. But certainly not words. You cannot say, for example, Alhamdulillah, then when you are saying Lillah, you doubt Alhamdulillah, say, I have entered another part. Or letters. So there is a gray area, and that is verses. Can we consider one verse as one part? But it seems if it is one surah and then next surah, we can consider as a part, and certainly if they are independent parts, we can consider. Again, of course, this is what Maraji have to decide. But for example, Sheikh Na'ini, who was teacher of Ayatollah Khouy, for example, he had the idea that it has to be independent juz, like ruku, sujood, tashahhud, qira'ah, not parts of qira'ah, not parts of tashahhud. Another issue is that what about doubting the existence of the part? Because sometimes I doubt validity, sihha, sometimes I doubt whether I have done it at all or not. If after salat I doubt whether my qira'ah was correct or not, this is shak fi sihha. We ignore. What about if I doubt whether I said qira'ah at all or not? It seems, again, we ignore, because whenever you doubt after finishing, you ignore. What about tajawuz, inside? For example, in ruku, I doubt whether I said qira'ah hamd or not. Not that whether I said it correctly or not. Again, it seems that we ignore. Okay? So it doesn't make difference here. The next issue is, this is a very good point. Does this rule apply to someone that knows he was not conscious, not, attentive? Because, for example, suppose I had ring in my finger, in my hand, I made wuzu. Sometime after wuzu, I doubt whether when I was making wuzu, I moved my ring or brought it out so that water goes inside or not. I doubt. You ignore your doubt. But if you know that you were not conscious, but still you say, maybe by chance I moved it, maybe by chance water went inside. Some ulama say yes, some ulama say no. For example, Ayatollah Khoyi says no. Why? Because he says this rule actually is a rule that is even followed by rational people. It's siri uqala. And although we have lots of hadith, but it is endorsement of siri uqala. When uqala do something and after that they doubt, they don't pay attention. Okay? For example, maybe this is a funny example. For example, if you leave home and just next to the door you doubt whether I have locked the door or not, you check. But if you have gone to shop or office or wherever you are, you ignore your doubt. Okay? This is a funny example. Anyway, Uqala seem to have this rule that they don't pay attention to something that has gone, has finished. But if they are in the middle of the action still, they do it again. They, make sure that they have not missed it. So, Ayatollah Khoyi Rahmatullah says, since this is a rational rule, we have to see what uqala do in such cases. Uqala would not ignore their doubt if they know they were heedless. If they don't know when I was locking the door, for example, I was careful or not, I don't remember, but say, okay, this is what I do every day and I must have been careful. But if I know that I was not careful because I was speaking, with someone and totally I forgot to, then still maybe still habitually I have locked it. So uqala here, don't ignore the doubt. So Ayatollah Khoyi and some people like him, they say the condition for ignoring doubt after completion is that you are not sure that you were heedless. If you know that you were heedless, you know that you were not doing any iltifat, you had no attention, then you cannot ignore it. In one of the hadiths also, when Imam argues why we should ignore, he says, because when he was doing the action, he was more mindful. When you are doing something, you are more mindful. Now, you forget. But when he knows that he was not mindful, that also argument doesn't apply. So, to be at least on the safe side, we should not ignore doubt, even if it is after completion, if we know that we were not attentive. Okay? This is also one point. Another point is about wudu. As I said, qa'idatu tajawuz, the rule of passing, would not apply to wuzu. This is one good reason also to understand that these are two different rules. Qa'idatul faragh is after completion. This applies to wuzu. If after finishing wuzu, you doubt, did I wash my face properly or not? Did I wash my hand properly? After completion of wuzu, you ignore your doubt. But if you are still in wuzu, even ghusl is not like this, but if you are still in wuzu, you have to make sure that you do it. You go back and do it. The reason is because we have a special hadith here. Sahihatu Zurara and Abi Ja'far alayhi salam. From Imam Baqir alayhi salam. إذا كنت قاعدا على وضوئك فلم تدر أغسلت ذراعيك أم لا فأعد عليهما وعلى جميع ما شككت فيه أنك لم تغسله أو تمسحه مما سمى الله ما دمت في حالة الوضوء. If you are sitting for your wuzu and you don't know whether you washed your hands or not, repeat, go back and repeat everything that you doubt, whether you washed it or did mass, you repeat. From those parts which are mentioned in the Quran, those parts of wuzu, إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين. These 4 parts are mentioned: washing face and hand, wiping head and feet. These 4 parts, Imam Baqir says, if you doubt and you are still in wuzu, you have to go and bring it, and then from that point repeat. Okay? So for example, I am doing mass, then I doubt about washing my face properly. I had, for example, I don't know, glasses, whatever, I have doubted. I go and do it. But he says, فَإِذَا قُمْتَ مِنَ الْوُضُوءِ. But if you stood up, you were sitting and doing wuzu and you doubted, that's what we said. But if you have stood up, وَفَرَغْتَ مِنْ, you have completed wuzu, you have finished wuzu, you have gone to, walk or whatever, قَدْ سَرْتَ فِي حَالٍ أُخْرَى, you have gone into another condition, فِي الصَّلَاةِ أو فِي غَيْرَهَا, either you are saying your prayer or you are doing something else, فَشَكَكْتَ فِي بَعْضِ مَا سَمَّ اللَّهِ مِمَّا أَوْجَبَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ فِيهِ وُضُوءَهِ, then you doubt about one of those things that Allah has mentioned that you have to do in wuzu, لَا شَيْءَ عَلَيْكَ فِيهِ, there is no problem, nothing is obligatory for you. If you have gone into another thing, you have finished your wuzu. So, because of this, ulama say that qa'idatul tajawuz would not apply to wudu, but qa'idatul faraq applies to wudu as well. Okay, so alhamdulillah, we finished. This is very important rule, and inshallah this would help you in understanding many different masail in salat, in ghusl, in hajj and other things. Even about fasting. If you doubt, after you have broken your fast, you doubt about something, so all these things. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Hassan, any questions?
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
About doubting with wudu. What if you doubt whether you did wudu, and then if you did it, if you doubt whether you've kept the wudu or not?
If you doubt whether you did wuzu, is your doubt before salat or after salat?
Before salah.
So you have to make wuzu. But if after salat you doubt, for example, between Zohr and Asr, it's a good exercise. If between Zohr and Asr you doubt you made wuzu or not, what do? What do you do for Zohr? What do you do for Asr?
You don't repeat Asr, but you have to do wudu.
For Zohr, you assume you had wuzu, because you doubted after performing Zohr. For Asr, you have to make wuzu. Do you see? Your Zohr is okay because you doubted after Zohr. But for Asr, you don't know that you have wuzu. You have to make wuzu. So, if you doubt whether you did wuzu or not, this is the rule. But if you know you have done wuzu, but you doubt whether your wuzu was correct or not, you ignore it.
What if it's not that?
Unless there is an issue that you know you were careless. That's another thing. But if you think that you might have done it properly and it's not something that needed a special attention, you ignore it.
What if you doubt that you might have, whether you've kept wudu or not? So you know you've done
You
it.
assume you have wuzu. This is istishab.
Oh, okay.
This is another rule. If you know that you had wuzu, but you say, maybe I slept, maybe, my wuzu is broken, you assume that wuzu is continuing.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam alaikum.
You mentioned about the taqlid of Aga Khoi. What about Aga Shistani? Is it the same rulings?
About
Taqlid of Aga Khoi.
the general ruling
The
is
general
same.
yeah, okay.
General ruling. But the details you have to check.
Oh, okay.
Because right now, we are studying fiqh, not saying masail.
Okay. So this is all general.
Yeah, we want to know what's the idea of fuqaha, how they argue, but you have to check Risale for every marja.
Okay.
So what I say has no practical value in the sense that you go and apply.
Okay.
What I say is to help you understand how fuqaha make their reasoning. Okay? So that you better understand your Risale.
Okay. All right.
Even if you go to Dars Kharaj of your own marja, you cannot apply it. Because his fatwa might be different from what he says in Dars Kharaj. Maybe in Dars Kharaj he says something. But when it comes to Risala, because of ihtiyat or other things, he says something else. Yes.
Sheikh, I'm just trying to understand the rationale, if there is one. Is this on? Yes. In a place like Saudi, for example, the place where you do wudu may be very, very far from the place you offer salah.
Yeah.
So in those cases where you have a doubt whether you've done something which has broken your wudu, and it becomes...
After wuzu,
Yeah.
so you know your wuzu was okay,
Yeah,
but
then
now you doubt
doubted whether anything you might have done
afterwards.
has broken your wuzu, like
Okay.
you might have gone to the bathroom.
Yes.
And you don't know whether you did or not.
Okay.
So,
This is another rule. This is istishab. لا تنقض اليقين بالشك. So if you are certain that you had wuzu and now you doubt whether your wuzu is broken, you assume that your wuzu is there.
is there.
If you know that you had wuzu. In the same way, if you know that you didn't have wuzu when you woke up and then you say, maybe I did wuzu, you assume that you don't have wuzu.
But if you doubt whether you did wuzu,
It's not enough.
that's not.
So you assume the condition which is known till change is known. If I woke up, I didn't have wuzu. Did I make wuzu? I have to assume no. Unless I am sure I have done wuzu. But if I know I had wuzu, I remember I had wuzu, maybe after that my wuzu is broken, I can continue my wuzu. So any condition which is established certainly, we carry on unless it is proved that it is changed.
And what is the rationale behind the importance of wudu compared to the salah, the kira and all that? Because you're saying if there's doubt of wudu, then you have to... Is there a rationale?
Maybe because wuzu is the key thing for, the tahara, and also it's not difficult, so you doubt, okay, you do that part again. But in salat is complicated. There are tens of things that you can doubt. Yeah. You're welcome.
One more question from the ladies. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam alaikum.
Just a question with regards to wudu. So for example, if you've gone to a massage of your head and you realize that you have a doubt about if you washed your face properly, do you then have to repeat the whole wudu or just the part that you had the doubt with?
So your doubt is inside wuzu?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
inside
So you
wudu.
go to that part, and from that part on you repeat.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Any final question? Or two more here, inshallah.
Thank you very. Hello. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
You're welcome.
I just have one more question. You've given examples in Salah and Hajj. For a bit more practical understanding, are there any more examples that you can think of in other than these two?
Pardon?
You have given examples in Salah and Hajj, and you hinted at
Fasting.
Can you think of any other examples that can
Yeah.
also help us understand the practical elements of this?
For example, you doubt, you have gone to a shop, and now you have come back home, you don't know you paid or not. So you don't need to go back and check, because when you were there, you were more mindful. Now you forget. Because if we go after these doubts, we can never establish anything, So this is one example. You, for example, recite, nikah. Someone, for example, wakil or himself recites nikah. Then after says, did I do it properly or not? You ignored your doubt. We did Salatul Mayyat, for example. After that we doubt. We made ghusl, of Mayyat, So there are lots of things that you can doubt afterwards. You're welcome.
Just to clarify, this is all about doubt. So if I'm certain after Salah is finished that I made special wudu, is that with such a
That is what we discussed in Qa'idat la tu'ad. That's different. If you are sure that you have missed, then we said for certain things you have to repeat, for certain things you leave it. For example, tashahhud does not make salat void if you missed it. But in some cases you have to do sajdah sahv or other things, but in some cases you just ignore. So it depends what was that part. Was it wajib rukni or not? If after salat, for example, I know that I didn't have wuzu, then it is void. Yes.
Awesome. Inshallah, we will meet again in 2 weeks' time on the 13th of November. And the announcement I did regarding the course starting on the 14th of
Yes.
November, the Silk Route, the past, present, and future. Inshallah, I'll be sending you an email with the
Yes.
details.
And if you doubt whether you attended the class or not, you cannot ignore this. You have to watch the video. This is what all Marajas say.
Asante, Sheikh.
Yeah.